Guys, welcome to the Firearm Patriot channel. I'm Russ, and if you watched my last video, you know I'm going to start shooting the carry optic division in USPSA. And you can have up to 141.25 millimeter magazine in that division. Now, for a long time, ETS has put out clear translucent magazines for the Glocks. They just started putting those magazines out also for the Smith & Wesson M&P 1.0, 2.0 in a 17 round, 21 round, and a 30 round configuration. They've also started making magazines for the Shield and also for the H&K VP9 as well as the Sig Sauer P320. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link to my Facebook page, which will also have a link to ETS's website, that's Elite Tactical Systems, and also another website where you can get these for a little bit cheaper. They're going to run around $16 to $13, depending, or $14, depending on where you get them from. But so far, you know, they have worked very well. You know, that's the 21 rounder, and this is the 17 rounder. Now, I didn't get a 30 rounder yet. I may get one later, but I did shoot 500 rounds through 4 of their magazines. So let's go ahead and take a little bit closer look at them. I'll tell you what I learned about them and how they function in the gun, and then you can decide whether or not you want to buy them or not. So let's go ahead and take a little closer look at them. Okay guys, I purchased 4 of these from ETS. Now I'm going to put a link to my Facebook page. It's going to have ETS's website, also the website where you can get these a little bit cheaper than what you can get them at ETS. On that website, they're going to run you right around $15.98 for the 21 rounders, and I think like $13.98 for the 17 rounders. So that's a really good price. You're not going to be able to find magazines that cheap anywhere else, particularly for training and competition purposes. Go ahead a little bit and talk about this magazine. You know, they're polymer, clear, translucent. You've got a polymer base pad, polymer follower. The only thing metal on this thing is the spring itself. I had no issues after putting 500 rounds through these magazines, and that's a total through all of them. I didn't put 500 through each, but they all locked the slide back. There was no misfeeding issues, no ejection problems. I had no problems with the magazine dropping. Overall, I thought they did very well for the price, and I don't have a problem shooting them in competition. If they give me a problem, what's the worst that's going to happen? I'm going to clear the jam and move on. Nobody's going to die, so it's not that big of an issue for me. If I'm Max Michel, I'm probably going to use factory magazines, but I'm not Max Michel. So let's go ahead and measure these things just to show you real quick that they do fit within the 141.25 millimeters that's required for carry optic division. You can't have a magazine that's over that. Now I'm going to put a link up to the appendix E1, which tells you how to measure these. And what they tell you to do is you're going to measure them from the base pad in the back all the way up to the highest point in the rear where it's at the end, at the tip, not up here at the top of the follower, but back here in the back. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and turn this on. We're going to put it on millimeters, and again, it can't be any higher from here to here. It can't be higher than 141.25 millimeters. If it is, it doesn't qualify. So we're going to go ahead and measure that out. Okay, and so what I have is 139.36. Okay, now USPSA does have a gauge, and it does reference that gauge in the rule. It says it does have to fit in that gauge. So to be 100% sure, you would have to fit it in the gauge to make sure. Because the measurement's only one test, it also references that gauge saying that it's got to fit in there too. That's probably going to have more to do with the follower. Now it does say that you can push the follower down to make that fit in the gauge, so really it's just measuring this. I don't think you're going to have any problems with these working for USPSA. They appear to be legal to me, but again, that's something that you would want to check once you got to a competition when you get a gauge available to you. Okay, now these magazines are very light. They do not weigh much at all. The 21 rounder weighs empty 1.5 ounces. The 17 rounder weighs 1.3 ounces. And compared that to the stock steel 17 round magazine, we're looking at 3.1 ounces. So the stock magazines are heavier, which is to me is an advantage over the polymer ones in competition. You want your gun to be as heavy as you can get it within the legal bounds to reduce the recoil. But at the price, I mean, it's hard to pass them up. They're pretty inexpensive compared to, you know, a $28, $30 stock magazine. Now, as you can probably see, the base plates on them is a little bit different than the M&Ps normally have. Here's a normal M&P base plate. Pretty substantial difference there. And they do tell you these are Glock compatible, that they're Glock plates, base plates, and not M&Ps. And they do tell you that on the website. I guess it's just easier for them to manufacture only one base plate and not try to make different base plates for all their magazines. But with that being said, for example, I'm using the compact, so it comes standard with a 15 round magazine grip, and you have to have a sleeve, or you should have a sleeve. They provide you with two that goes over the 17 round. So you can see, let me go ahead and lock this back, nothing in that, how well that fits in. You know, obviously again, that's all factory, but it's not going to fit as well on the ETS magazine. You can kind of see how the gaps are on that. And I think if you have a longer 17 round grip, you're not going to have a perfect fit. I mean, it's going to fit, but it's not going to be perfect like the stock magazine would be. So just keep that in mind when you buy those. If you're looking for a perfect fit, you probably shouldn't get these. But overall, they've worked very well. I've not had any issue with them. I did preload these just so you can see that they do hold 21 rounds and 17 rounds. I load them up with Mag Lula loader. You don't have to, you can do it by hand. Usually the last round's the hardest round to get in. I'll show you right here, it's not any big deal. No problem there in that one. And then here's a 17 rounder. No problem with that either. So you can do it by hand. Again, just because of the number of rounds, I'd recommend a magazine loader. The only other issue that I had, when you load these to capacity, they're a little difficult to get in the gun. All right, now we're going to put a round in the chamber just to demonstrate this for you. We'll be very careful here, make sure we don't violate any safety rules. So we've got this loaded magazine in, and we're going to drop it. Now that came out easy that time, so I guess they're getting better, but a little bit of hang up right there. You have to shake it out. But once you chamber that first round, no problems whatsoever. Okay, so if that's a concern for you, maybe you want to just load 20. All right, and I understand that you can load 20, but usually what's going to happen is you get that up in there, the next round you fire it. Whenever you get to the you know, after you fire that first round, the next round is going to be stripped out of that and you're good to go. Not going to be an issue if you have to drop that mag. Same problem with the 17 rounder. You know, you got to put that up there with some force. Doesn't want to come out when you hit that magazine release button. Again, that's just a problem. We're going to load it, put one in the chamber. Only a problem if you're fully loaded and one's not in the chamber. Go ahead and again take that out. Nothing in that gun, safety check. Just want to let you know what that was an issue that I had, but didn't really affect anything running the gun or anything of that nature. You know, the only time would be a problem if for some reason I had to drop a fully loaded magazine, which I don't know when that would be ever be an issue. So overall, I thought they were very good magazines. They work very well, and I think they're a worthwhile purchase. And so I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, go to the Facebook page, check the links out there because I can't put them in the video description any longer due to YouTube requirements, and I hope you'll subscribe to the channel. With that being said, this is the Firearm Patriot. Till next time, God bless America.